Once upon a time, there was a man who had a big garden. He had planted many fruit trees and cared for them till they bore fruits. Now he wanted to harvest the fruits and sell them to make money for his family. One fine day, while picking the fruits with his son, the man saw a stranger sitting on the branch of a tree and picking fruits. The man became angry and shouted,
"Hey you! What are you doing on my tree? Aren't you ashamed of stealing?"
The stranger sitting on the branch looked at the gardener, but didn't reply, and continued picking the fruits. The gardener was very angry and shouted again,
"For a whole year I have taken care of these trees. You have no right to take the fruits without my permission. So come down at once."
The stranger on the tree answered,
"Why should I come down? This is the garden of God, and I am the servant of God. So I have the right to pick these fruits. You should not interfere with the work of God and His servant."
The gardener was very surprised at this answer and thought of a plan. He told the stranger to come down from the tree. As the stranger climbed down the tree, the gardener tied him to the tree with the help of his son and began beating him with a stick. The stranger began to scream,
"Why are you beating me? You have no right to do this."
The gardener paid no attention and continued beating him. The stranger screamed,
"Don't you fear God? You are beating an innocent man."
The gardener answered,
"Why should I fear? This wood in my hand belongs to God, and I am the servant of God. You shouldn't interfere with the work of God and His servant."
The stranger hesitated and then spoke.
"Wait. Don't beat me. I am sorry for taking the fruits. This is your garden, and I should seek your permission before taking the fruits. So, please forgive me and set me free."
The gardener smiled and said,
Don't use God's name to justify your ill-conceived actions.
Then the gardener untied him and let him go free. One day, a young guy and a young girl fell in love. But the guy came from a poor family. The girl's parents weren't too happy. So the young man decided not only to court the girl, but to court her parents as well. In time, the parents saw that he was a good man man was worthy of their daughter's hand. But there was another problem. The man was a soldier. Soon, war broke out, and he was being sent overseas for a year. The week before he left, the man knelt on his knee and asked his lady love,
"Will you marry me?"
She wiped a tear, said yes, and they were engaged. They agreed that when he got back in 1 year, they would get married. But tragedy struck. A few days after he left, the girl had a major vehicular accident. It was a head-on collision. When she woke up in the hospital, she saw her father and mother crying. Immediately, she knew there was something wrong. She later found out that she suffered brain injury. The part of her brain that controlled her face muscles was damaged. Her once lovely face was now disfigured. She cried as she saw herself in the mirror.
Yesterday, I was beautiful. Today, I'm a monster.
Her body was also covered with so many ugly wounds. Right there and then, she decided to release her fiancé from their promise. She knew he wouldn't want her anymore. She would forget about him and never see him again. For 1 year, the soldier wrote many letters, but she wouldn't answer. He phoned her many times, but she wouldn't return her calls. But after 1 year, the mother walked into her room and announced,
He's back from the war.
The girl shouted,
No! Please don't tell him about me. Don't tell him I'm here.
The mother said,
He's getting married.
And handed her a wedding invitation. The girl's heart sank. She knew she still loved him, but she had to forget him now. With great sadness, she opened the wedding invitation. Confused, she asked,
What is this? Why is my name written on the card?
That was when the young man entered her room with a bouquet of flowers. He knelt beside her and asked,
"Will you marry me?"
The girl covered her face with her hands and said,
I'm ugly.
The man said,
"Without your permission. Your mother sent me your photos. When I saw your photos, I realized that nothing has changed. You're still the person. I fell in love. You're still as beautiful as ever. Because I love you."